Welcome back guys to another Zero DTE video, and today Ernie's going to be carrying on with the volume profile analysis, so make sure you stay tuned. If you're interested in becoming a pro trader, check out the link in the description where you can find Ernie's education platform. Enjoy guys.
So the first thing to do is, first of all, get a real look at what that structure actually looks like. And so what we need to do is double click on it and get rid of some things. One of the things that we need to get rid of is this up-down volume. We make it total because we don't need no up-down volume. The second thing we need to get rid of is this stupid construct of HVNs and LVNs. That's the light area and the dark area that's supposed to indicate one standard deviation. The market knows nothing about the bottom or top of that, which will arbitrarily change based on what you're going to view in the profile. So we get rid of that too. And the way we do that is in the value area volume, we turn that to 100% so that the entire chart is using light area, all right? The next thing we do is we get as highly detailed view of this profile as possible. There's a number of ways you can do it, and that's through the rows layout and the row size. One way you can do it is you can say, I want number of rows. Here it's just showing 24, like 24 big blocks that basically are averaging volume in each of these individual blocks. That's ridiculous. Depends on your monitor what you can support, but you could easily put in 1000 and that will give you a much higher degree of granularity. See what that looks like. That looks better. Now I'm seeing an actual mapping, but if I wanted to have the ultimate mapping, I could do ticks per row because the market goes in ticks, and with the E-mini S&P futures, for every dollar, there are 4 ticks. That's because it's split up into 12.5-cent increments. So there's 4 ticks for every dollar. So every 100 points, there's 4 times 100 or 400 ticks. Of course, in the SPX, there would be many more, but you can't do volume profile in the SPX because the SPX has no volume because it's not real. It's a calculated index. There is no underlying contract with ticks or volume. You can't show volume profile on the SPX. You can only show it on the E-mini. That's why we do it here. But I could go ticks per row and then say 1 tick per row. That would theoretically give me the maximum granularity. Now it's showing the actual volume for every single tick in the market. So either 1 tick per row or 1,000 or 2,000 ticks, both of them would work just fine. So that's the first step. We get everything set up, and that's essentially what I do. For most people, this is going to work because you don't have a 1,000 ticks or 2,000 ticks. Will work better because you don't have a high resolution monitor like I do. I have a 5K monitor here, so it works better that way. So the number of rows would probably be better. It's going to get it close enough. We just want to have fine granularity. I can expand this volume. There's no set amount of volume this is. We can't look at what's the value of these peaks. But what we can do is the way this works is that it makes it the percentage of the window that it takes up. And that's under the style menu. And here they say the width, right now it's set at 30. I usually make it like 50 or 70. And the reason why I do that is to elongate the nodes and the valleys so that they become much more clear. So it makes it easier for me to mark up. I'll make it 70, just elongates it. Remember I talked about the POC? It's right there, that big red line. I turn that off. All right, that's how I set up my volume profile. That's how I set up the profile. Now it's ready to mark up. I have videos on YouTube that have done this literally dozens, maybe hundreds of times. And I also have a course that's part of the content too that talks about this. All right, so now my next job here is to try to figure out where are all of the interesting areas. Remember I said the interesting areas are strictly the areas that have abrupt changes in volume. Naturally, those would be the nodes that are sticking up and these big crevices. And also some of these smaller nodes and edges that don't really turn themselves into beautiful nodes. So what I do is I try to identify some major highlights. There are these big nodes, and then there are these big cracks. Now, I used to outline the nodes with a rectangle, but that got messy. So like I do something like this. And I would place the upper and lower bound of the node on the edge that seems to be falling the most. It's not an exact science, but it's close enough. So I do something like that. And I always make these purple. I don't know why, because I like purple. And I make them relatively thin, maybe a 2 or a 3. And I'll put that on the other nodes as well that I see. There's one right here. This one is hard to decide where it is because it's taking up a lot of room. I would probably leave that one and maybe jump over here because I have another way of marking up with these yellow lines. And so I might just use individual yellow lines because there's enough of some variation in there that I can pick off. So here's a node right there. You notice I'm not really caring that much about the bases of these nodes. Now, the reason why I pick off nodes is that price tends to consolidate once it gets inside of a node. And there's a definite behavioral difference between when price is moving across a node or one of these low areas that is significant. And so from that, I can devise scenarios of how price might act as it's traversing the structure based on whether it's a node or an LVL, which are these low value levels. So that's the next thing I do is I create low value levels with a horizontal array. A very typical low value level would be really deep crevice right here. And I make those yellow. And then I just try to pick off all of those. There's also on the edge of this too, which is also a low value level. And I guess you could make an argument that there's also there, although it's not that prominent. And then stuff below that there. So I'm just going to pick these off. That's all I'm doing. Just them off, finding the lowest levels, marveling in the fact that for some reason they persist, trying to get the leading edge that has the sharpest decline. So not always perfect. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll always be within just a few points. All right, so now that I've done that, I can now zoom in so I can just see the day. That usually means getting down to about a 5 or a 3 minute chart. And I'll notice something rather spectacular that price seems to be paying attention to these lines. That's how you do it.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button below. If there's any questions that you might have for Coach Ernie, make sure you leave them in the comment section. Thanks, guys.